Welcome to the Miller Report Real Clear Journalism. I'm Maggie Miller. I'm joined now by Mark Hume, the Managing Director and Portfolio Manager at BlackRock. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you.
So here at the Energy Future Forum, we're obviously talking about energy and affordability. What does an affordable energy future look like for you from your perspective?
The answer to that is tell me which country you're talking about and I'll let you know. That's not to be facetious, but every country's got to go back and look at what it has and what it can do to meet those energy demands that it thinks it has going forward. So it might be you have a country that's blessed with adequate wind resource, great solar irradiation, they might have good hydro already, good nuclear, or they may have access to an abundance of fossil fuels. So it really does come down to the country by country level. What we tend to think about though is that there's a trade-off between the speed at which you want to travel and actually being thoughtful about building out the grid. Because sometimes when we go too fast, you can get unintended consequences. So some countries in Europe, for example, have built out incredible grids, replacing a lot of old gas and nuclear with renewables. But that can lead to complications around the stability of the grid if you move too fast. And Spain had an unfortunate blackout last year, for example, and people lost their lives as a result of that. So you have to be careful how you want to do it. But there's lots of options out there, and you have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. So if you come to the US, the US is blessed with an abundance of natural gas. Again, it's a choice. If you choose to put that in the mix, then you can observe the natural gas price in the US through the conflict has been flat as a pancake. Gas prices globally have been way up here. So it's a choice, and it depends on what you start with in the first place.
Would you speak to me a little bit more about your views on the energy mix and investment?
So energy mix, again, it kind of comes down to where you're looking. We always say that we're technology agnostic. So it's a really simple equation for us. Our clients give us a mandate. We're going to try and deliver on that mandate within the constraints they provide, given the best possible return. So if technology A has better risk-reward opportunity than technology B, then that's where the capital will go. And that risk-reward is informed by the cost of said technology, but also the policy around it and the risks around actually delivering it. Maybe that the value chain for that particular technology extends to markets where there could be a tariff thrown up tomorrow, and that changes the economics of that particular technology. But right now, we're super excited about the role that natural gas has to play in the immediate term, particularly in the AI data center build out, where we're going to need a lot of gas-fired power, but we'll also see a lot of renewables come in, and we'll also see a lot of battery storage come in as well. So it's a bit of an all of the above, contingent upon which market you're in. But we think the outlook for growth in terms of the capital that has to go in and the expansion in the power grid that has to happen is the best I've frankly ever seen in 25 years of doing this.
Could you also expand on the nation's lessons learned in reacting to immediate precedents like the two earlier energy shocks that we saw?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's always a trade-off in decision making, and candidly, when you have a democratic society where you have a 4-year election cycle, there might be a tendency to have shorter term reaction functions to energy crises. But if you look back to, and bear with me for a second, Maggie, but if you look back to say the 1970s, when we had the first really big oil price shock, different policymakers attacked it from different perspectives. If you look at France, which is a really neat example of how you might think some policymakers could react, they did two things. They did energy independence, which is the biggest nuclear build out in the developed world, 60 gigawatts over 20 years. And they also did energy insurance. So they actively went out to the Middle East and secured molecules to help to bridge over that 10, 20-year plan. So you can be very thoughtful about it, or you can be reactionary about it. Because again, you want to protect consumers, we understand that. But if you don't allow the price signal to go through, then people don't change their habits.
Fair enough. Well, that was all. Mark, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
That was it for the Miller Report, Real Clear Journalism. I'm Maggie Miller. I'll see you next time.